Good morning and welcome to another edition of XFeed. Today we're starting off the stream talking about the Solana Phone and why I think they are actually writing the playbook, kind of like BAYC did for the entire NFT run that we saw back in the day. A lot of projects copied it. Obviously, not everybody was successful in that, but everybody looks to the top dog in that regard. And the Solana Phone is doing something kind of interesting. And the fact that the initial kind of first grabs at the Solana Mobile 2 that's coming out in 2025, we're going to highlight that. We're going to talk over some other things, including the Magic Eden rewards. If you're not familiar with that, what's going on and how you can kind of participate in that, you might not realize you actually have stuff available to claim, and you do. We're going to go over the Farcaster thing, which is it's now Warpcaster for the specific app. I'm seeing more people join. I've tried it out for a day. We're going to go over my experience with that. But anyway, that's a hell of a long intro. What's up? My name's Schiller. We've been covering the NFT Web3 space for a while, and things are starting to pick back up again. And so I'm excited that you are here along for the journey with me. Let's get into the Solana Mobile Phone. 60,000 pre-orders and counting. Heartfelt thank you to the community. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, so are you getting a Solana phone, or are you not buying it because it's on Solana? Is it because it's a little bit expensive? It's about $450 US, just over their site. An ambitious vision. When we embarked on creating the first Solana mobile phone, we were driven by a wildly ambitious vision to offer our developer community a free and unrestricted app store, especially for crypto features, and to provide our users with the most secure signing environment available on a cell phone. It was a long and arduous journey, and honestly, there were times we doubted we would make it. A lot of people fudded the hell out of this too, so don't forget that. But this is something that if you've been in the space for a while, if you've seen teams try to launch anything Web3 related on the App Store, it seems that Google Play is a little bit more lenient with things, but of course, Apple and their monopoly, it's been crazy. And so when I look at this and I'm like, okay, they're going to iterate on this. Solana's getting bigger and bigger. There is an opportunity where we're going to get to a clip from Bill Noble a little bit later about something different, but he covers crypto and whatnot. And he said that, the Solana mobile phone, everybody's looking at that as okay, like that's just going to be a Solana thing, but like it's in the works. When's the Bitcoin phone? When's the Ethereum phone? When's the root phone? You know what I mean? This is something that can continue on throughout, but everybody's going to look at Solana because they were the first one that is doing things within the blockchain space. Now, with that said, there is 2 days left at the time of this tweet. This is like 24 hours now. So if you are thinking about getting the initial one, just realize that going into it. But they're saying that they're saying that you get 10K confirmed on ecosystem airdrops. I mean, that I feel like I don't know about. But for the Saga one, there was the Saga Monkey NFTs, which were worth 1,200, Bonk 1,000, and then this ASC token, which was $500. And you can see them like on the site itself. They've actually highlighted several of these protocols are actually partnered with the Solana phone. So Jupiter Exchange, Phantom, Magic Eden, Backpack, Tensor, Soulflare Wallet, and Drip. Now, you might not be familiar with all of them, but just know, I guess for like the first ones here, Jupiter Exchange is like Uniswap, Phantom is just like MetaMask, and then Magic Eden is like OpenSea, I guess, for any first-time watcher. So the idea that, hey, there's going to be potentially something of an airdrop for them, and I guess for this initial day here, there is, or at least ending tomorrow, there is for the top 1,500, you can receive a non-transferable element NFT. I don't know if that's just kind of a cool whatever. The way that they have it is like there's a leaderboard. So if you connect your X account, if you shill it, I don't know if they're saying it's only for those leaderboards or anybody that bought. Obviously, there's 60,000 purchases currently, so I would imagine it's based off that leaderboard, but I wouldn't be shocked if we have kind of the same situation where people were like, oh my god, I missed the initial Solana mobile phone, why didn't I get this one? So just kind of re-highlighting it here as your reminder. Okay, a little bit of Root news here. The Root network is gearing up for open beta, expanding validator slots for new participants and developers. As part of this work, network fees have been reduced by 67%, empowering devs to build scalable applications with confidence. So basically they're just making everything way cheaper on the network. Kind of crazy. They can just like flick a switch and make that happen. 67% is a lot for anybody that is following Root. One of the big aspects of it is pretty much every single transaction has like a 0.05% fee accompanied to it. So if this ever does get massive volume, people that are staking Root are going to be like, woo. But right now, I mean, obviously there's a concern of, okay, if the network fees are reduced by 67%, that can get repicked up if there is volume. And I think that's the idea with this. They're wanting people to have a little bit more of an enjoyment. Yeah, I guess enjoyment while using the chain and not having to have those extra fees. But they've also mentioned at the bottom here, our bootstrap rewards remain in place to ensure strong incentives for validators as network traffic goes. So the extra incentives are continuing to be there and unaffected. Other crazy news from some of these new chains here is Ronin is now tradable on Binance. After 2 years of relentless pursuit and unwavering support, the moment our community has been asking for has come. This is a big step towards the world discovering the secret that we all know. Ronin is the gaming chain. Now, one thing that I kind of regret is for the Pixels Online, they did have like a played airdrop, and the timer from that was done. So I think what I'm going to do, realizing moving forward of like, hey, there really is all these opportunities. I've always said like, hey, I'm just going to kind of hold what I have in Futureverse, and here and there when things pop up, I might start adventuring just a wee little bit here, as we are seeing more and more bullish things come out from these teams that are building, and there is components of the ecosystem that are doing good that we kind of are just like, whatever at the time, but that could be something that's really good. And again, wild here because I thought Ronin was on some major exchanges, but I guess now is the time. We talk about metaverse interoperability, all that fun stuff. Joseph here highlighting a really funny thing here with Forgotten Runes. So I log into the other side meta and see the partnership with Forgotten Runes with exclusive items in the Shattered Loot. I log into Kuro Beast and can use an exclusive beast. I log into Nifty Island and can use my Wizard's 3D model. Forgotten Runes' presence on Web3 is absurd and undeniable, but I'm not using this to try to necessarily hide Forgotten Runes, but I think that we really are getting to that point where this is a big open metaverse. Kind of a cringy term, I get it, but I mean, we're seeing it right here where this connection is a part of how many others. We look at collaborations before and we say, hey, this is stupid because it's, what's the reciprocating aspect other than notoriety? But when there's actual implementation of some sort, maybe you don't like the partnership or you're never going to play the game that something's partnered with, but still the opportunities there are arriving, and that's neat to see. Grails are starting to go. We've talked about it throughout January. It felt like it kind of quieted down a little bit. We're going to go over several of them, but here we have one of the whale Doodles on the same day that they highlight one of their watch collaborations, but going for just under $100,000. Now, over $100,000 if we're going Canadian, just remember that, but crazy. Now, the other thing that we're seeing, which also makes me bullish, is we're seeing Sayara posts of here's the reason why I'm selling, here's all this stuff. Listen, I don't think most people really care. If you make 100K off a digital image, more power to you. You know what I mean? But Dude here was the one that sold that whale and giving a kind of a speech here. I'm not leaving Doodles, period. I hope this cute whaley finds an amazing home. Auction will last for 3 days from now on. Going to the highest bidder, yada, 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 yada. Okay, cool. But really, when people are making these speeches, the same thing when we saw people selling their apes and it was this big ordeal all over Twitter. It's like, okay, dude, is it really that serious? Now, gotta question your motives here. Gotta question the communities that you're in. How many of them would do what they did for Free Lunch Capital here? If you don't know who Free Lunch Capital is, essentially he owns one of the protocols that's trying to fractionalize NFTs in a way, turn them into tokens, and then have it where potentially there's more liquidity for them. But with that being said, he's kind of like the ding-a-ling, any of your big players within the space. And I guess he joined the Cybergongs community and he's trying to get Cybergongs attached to that. And he says, total insane. Wanted to just quietly join and say hi, but then people just turned up and spammed 30 pages of roaring Kongs in CyberKong's Discord. I've said before, I'll say it again, if you want attention in Web3, just unload the wallet, join a Discord, and people will swoon over your every word. And damn, CyberKongz really came out in full fashion for that one. Why is there not wallet insurance yet? I think I'd pay an insurance premium on my main wallet to insure against hacks. We highlighted it last week. BMI, that's now DN, I guess, finance for like decentralized insurance. I was all about that years ago. I don't think the technology is necessarily there yet. Or the narratives for people to want it and be a part of it. But I do agree at some point this is going to be something that does take center stage. Now, this shit is terrifying. Yikes, proof of humanity is going to be so important. As I've said before, AI is going to make having a global immutable ledger very, very important in the coming years. So this is, I guess, like a fake idea. Inside the underground site where neural networks churn out fake IDs, I tested, made 2 IDs in minutes, used one to successfully bypass the identity verification on a cryptocurrency exchange. Massive implications for crime, cybersecurity. Agree. It is something that we go back to the blockchain. We go back to these immutable ledgers. We go back to how does AI and blockchain converge in a world where there's a lot of shit that's fake. How does it look exactly? I'm not sure, but that is like genuinely terrifying. Yo, what's going on, Dip? Have you seen the drop in Silo? Looks extremely yammy. Oh God, don't tell me that. Yo, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. Let's quickly look here. How bad? Maybe it's not loading on my thing here. It looks like we're slightly up. Oh, never mind. It is Jover. Yo, what's going on, Tarzan? How are you? Hell yeah, bro. Okay, we dropped 9% here. See, these are the kind of things that I'm like, I don't know if it's some of these longtime holders that are in the Discord that are just fuming over like the lack of talks and whatnot. And I agree. Like, to be totally honest with you, it's crazy. Like, you look at Silo and the team tries to defend, oh yeah, like we're working on stuff. We published a roadmap and a site. Who cares? Like, Jesus, you completely ignored everything. There's no conversation. I try to like at people that are a part of the team on Twitter. No response. They retweet. They like some of my stuff. They don't even follow me. What the hell's going on with Silo? When updates? When friggin' updates, baby? What's going on, Shay? How are you? Buffalo, what's going on? Just use my Jupe airdrop to buy the Solana phone. Yeah, apparently you can use USDC for it. So hell yeah. Are you guys, how many of you are getting the Solana phone? Nobody? A couple? What's the deal here? And let me know, guys. Listen, when we do these streams, all of a sudden all you guys start chatting at the same time. Like, I love it, but like, listen, give me some feedback. You hate something I say? You friggin' tell me, bud. You friggin' tell me. Okay, I'm fudding. I'm ready to fud here. Okay, so Doodles, right? They announced this partnership with G-Shock. Apparently this is huge, right? 45K Twitter. This is a massive deal, okay? Apparently. Launch details, 2K or 2G Tokyo pop-up, Doodles OG holders exclusive, plus more, okay? The watch. The Doodles X Shockwave was a loving design by Burnt Toast and his creative team. The original triple indicator DW69 whatever. Watch band features Doodles' whimsical touch grass motif, a daily reminder to pause and enjoy life's little moments. There is a box with it, and it's going to be $169 for retail. Contains one exclusive Doodles X Shock time piece and one digital collectible. IRA launched. The token is going to debut in Tokyo February 9th. How much is it? The collection will drop online February 15th. Doodles OG holders and the virtual G-Shock community will have first access. And OG holders will receive free shipping on order. Okay, so they're selling something. Okay, do you believe that Doodles has done enough to be able to sell you something? This is something. I made a tweet the other day saying, okay, when we have these collections that are starting to sell you something, are people going to believe, okay, they've done enough for that? Now, you have the exclusivity aspect where it's going to be only for Doodles. And if you have a long time frame, I have to admit, I have a closet full of these friggin' NFT merches, right? Not Doodles per se, but just in general. I'm thinking, hey, maybe one day these might be worth something a little bit more, right? And so this is a scenario where, okay, if you end up buying one of these things, it's going to be an exclusive piece where not many people get into it, kind of like the Macbeth jacket. I thought a lot of people didn't buy that when it came out for Bored Apes, and you know, you can go online and you pay like a pretty handsome sum for it. So I don't know, Doodles, I think it's kind of cool. I think, like, you know, cool to an extent in the terms of like, it's awesome that they were able to get like a big brand partnership, but like for the design, I mean, it feels kind of like unauthentically not Doodles. You know what I mean? Like, That doesn't scream Doodles to me. That just screams like, okay, it's a waterproof watch. Wanted a little bit more style to it. Dip. It says 0.001598 on Martin. Oh my God, I'm ready to FUD. Price down, we're FUDding. Price up, we're Moon Boys. That's the way that it works. Okay. How many of you have downloaded the Farcaster, or it's called Warpcast, just to clarify if you guys see that? It ends up costing like $5. I put out a video or a short yesterday. If you haven't seen that, scroll over the page, go down a little bit, or just go on shorts and you'll see it on there. And I guess they're up to number 38, and they passed WeChat on the top social networking free apps. Now, I've used this. There's zero discoverability. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. There is zero discoverability on this app. You basically go on Twitter and find people that are posting about it, or hope that they come up on your timeline, and then you follow them, and that's kind of it. It makes sure that you see pretty much everybody that you follow when you do talk. The notion of it is that there's these channels. So think of Warpcaster like Reddit, where you go and you have, tabs about RuneScape, Bored Ape Yacht Club, your favorite hockey team, right? And so you can cast a message to specific channels. It costs like 1,500 of their warps to launch a channel within that, and then it also shows like who it was created by. So there is kind of that like OG aspect that if you're really wanting to highlight, where I posted this morning, like, if anybody wants to make a Futureverse one, I'll like post some extra stuff on there, but I'm like, I'm just gonna post what I post on X over there. You know what I mean? Yo, Fluff, what's going on? How are you? It's cooking, baby. And so there was another point that I had with this. Oh, and so now what I'm seeing is people that you would think wouldn't tweet ever about certain topics. You'll see on there, they're highlighting things to like the fitness channel. And then it's like, okay, suddenly all these people are fitness experts, which very well they could be, but it's weird as shit. Cause you're like, okay, this person's talking about a meme coin, and now they're trying to give you life advice about some kind of like fitness routine on Farcaster. So it's really, really strange, to be honest. But SocialFi is nonsensical concept that is no real world use case. We already saw it play out here during the bear when Meta was grinding for monetization payments with long threads about nothing. It's obvious the blockchain is only being used here to create Ponzi economics. Obviously, subtweeting about Warpcaster there. But I mean, we saw the Friendtech thing. I'm going to be transparent with you. I downloaded Friendtech. I guess because I had like a larger following on X, because I guess there's like a connection specifically through that. My account got botted. And what I mean by that is there was a whole bunch of like bots that it's like a price ramp or a bonding curve, where if somebody buys your key, like it starts going up in price, and then somebody sells, yada, yada, yada. And so like I logged in and like my key was like $50 or $70. I was like, I've never posted on here. This is weird. And I'm like, okay, like in my head, like this will be cool. Like, okay, so I can like, this is like Patreon, but I can do stuff that's exclusively for Friendtech, except you can't do videos. I think they didn't have photos out, but they came out with it. But like there was no discoverability again, so I'd have to, shill all across all my socials and be like, come do this. And I posted a video about it saying, oh, like I'll do extra Futureverse stuff with it. And there was nobody that joined it except for other people that were like, oh, like what's this room about? Or people doing this. And it was all these people that were farming these Friendtech points, or, keys, trying to figure out like how to flip. And it was like, it just felt really like unorganic. There was a few people that like I talked to within there, and it was like, okay, like this is kind of cool, but at the same time, it was like, it just feels like I'm forcing things or trying to sell something, and it's like it just doesn't feel like authentic. Like I get the point of it, right? But it felt weird. And so with Warpcaster here, it's the discoverability sucks, but the fact is you like pay $5, and then if it works, it works. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't really recommend it right now. If you were going to ask me, could change at a point. I I saw Banana of Mercy tagging Alex in the Discord, and he was like, hey, is Futureverse going to do something on here? And it's like, okay, like we're in the moment of FOMO for something that everybody's talking about, but is it going to sustain? Like my diet. I'm not going to lie. I ordered a large ultimate pepperoni from Papa John's yesterday. Ate the whole thing, felt like a fat ass. Got my ass down to the treadmill at like 11 o'clock last night and absolutely cranked that step as high as possible and ran it for 40. It's crazy. So you never know. Anyway, if you're getting started with Warpcast, okay, this is funny. So here we are. If you're getting started with Warpcast, here are some necessary steps so you don't miss out on airdrops and free money. Okay, as we're going through this, I want you to think, okay? Talk with me about what you think. Okay, that seems kind of weird. So number one, you create an account. If you don't want to pay with a credit card, you can use crypto with Coinbase Wallet, and they'll rebate it back with the Earn program. Okay, that's kind of cool. If you don't have a Coinbase Wallet, you can set one up here and get $10 in free BTC. And again, this is a reminder about how you're supposed to get these airdrops apparently. Once you set up your account, follow a couple of the anchor profiles listed here. And so these are just, again, like a couple of the ones that show up mainly when you just check the feed to find people. Next, connect your wallet in the settings to connected addresses. Do not forget this step if you like free money. Now, this is on mobile, so the problem that I have with this is I know somebody that got drained from having their MetaMask on their phone. I don't know if they had it like stored in an iCloud or what, but it happened, and I just deleted it off my phone. To be honest, I was like, I'm just not dealing with this, period. So I can't even connect my wallet through this because they don't have any kind of a desktop aspect to it. Engage like you normally would on Twitter and bring value. Definition of value, it's 50-50. If you want to determine if you receive new tokens after some claims or airdrops, just search your address that you connected on base scan. Once you set it up to share your account below and tag me on Warpcast so I can follow you. Okay, so again, here are some necessary steps so you don't miss out on airdrops and free money. And basically, they said connect your wallet, and then if you want to determine if you receive new tokens after some claims or airdrops, just search your address. So is it just like if you've ever used the app, for some reason they're just giving you free stuff on some other apps that are built? Like, to me, it doesn't really make sense, right? Like, I get the concept. I mean, yada yada, but like, is everything really just like you make an account? If you're a part of this, you're going to get an airdrop. I feel like I need a little bit more of a breakdown because everybody's like hyping these things, but I haven't really seen it yet. Okay. Gala Games news. This one's a spicy meatball. This is very interesting. Gala Games has partnered with the VGX Foundation to create some Web3 enabled games that will use VGX, the token of the now defunct Voyeur Digital. This VGX token will be used as an in-game reward for VGX-specific Web3 games. So if Voyeur Digital is defunct, why is Gala Games incorporating their token for that? Does the business still exist? Like, I'm trying, like, is this just the fact of Gala trying to get some users acquired? I don't know. Following the 2022 collapse and subsequent bankruptcy filing and liquidation of Voyeur Digital in January 2023, the company's assets were sold or liquidated. Although the VGX Foundation did not acquire any VGX tokens, there are currently more than 278 million VGX tokens in circulation. The VGX Foundation is excited to provide new opportunities for gamers in conjunction with Gala Games, said Claire Aberrett, director of VGX. So I guess it's still going on. I feel like that initial tweet doesn't, kind of makes sense, but it's also like, wait, why? All this stuff is defunct. Okay, Magic Eden rewards. If you're not familiar, Magic Eden is a marketplace on Solana. If you've ever used Solana Marketplace, you probably ended up using this. Make sure you check because there's Diamond, same aspect of Blur rewards, but there's this whales market, which apparently you're able to trade airdrop allocations, points, etc., etc. I made a quick little video on this a while back. I think it was a shorts, or if you were here on the stream, because you're lovely, you've liked, subscribed, commented, all that. You guys are freaking amazing. But it's a risk in this term of like, okay, so we're selling our point systems for something that we're going to give our airdrop. Like, it seems kind of suspicious in a way, but still, I think the aspect of somebody trying to tackle a point one is interesting. But with that said, Chart for Monkey says trading points OTC is stupid and dangerous because you can never know how those will be used later. You can pay for something and then end up with nothing. So I think that protocol is trying to eliminate the OTC aspect where it's like maybe an escrow wallet. I didn't look like super heavy into it because I'm not going to participate in it. But for anybody that is, heavily acquiring points or whatnot, might be something to look for. Back to our Grail talk. wagyu, baby. A couple of big overnight sales. 3D purple hat punk, 150 ETH. Blue beam ape, 88 ETH. And this one apparently was bought by that Flooring Capital guy that or the Free Lunch Capital guy does flooring protocol. And was also highlighting how they are now adding cyberkongs to their system. Okay. We're gonna beef. Yeah, we're gonna beef. And if you're a vegetarian, I ain't effing scared of him. Some 303. Okay, so on the ballot, the Coin DAO is voting on whether or not it wants an ape chain. So, and this is like minutes after I posted the clip yesterday. If you've not seen, basically I say, hey, the DAO's. Let me just play the clip. Hold on a minute. Here it is. It's 40 seconds. Governance working group. Ape chain is coming. I feel like people don't really realize like this is a thing. Like it's a vote on, but like ape chain is coming. Like holy shit. And everyone couldn't be more excited. Starting at 6 p.m. PST on February 1st, you can head to ApeCoin DAO Snapshot and vote for who you think our L2 Sherpas should be. So they have Arbitrum, Optimism. I don't know what that logo is, son of a bitch. And Polygon here, and I'm like, oh, hold on. Matter Labs and ZK Sync. Okay, so it's Matter Labs and ZK Sync. Apologies, not familiar with that middle one. But I guess they're voting for ApeCoin to have an L2 that's going to be run through one of those. So again, interesting to see what happens with ApeCoin. Okay, right? So it's, they're doing an ApeCoin. Like it literally says Ape Chain is coming. Okay, so then like right after I post that, Board Gazette, which is somebody that actually got funding from the ApeCoin DAO, which you've seen a lot of FUD around that because apparently Animoca's swaying votes, yada, 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 yada. They post this article saying the ApeCoin DAO is voting on whether or not it wants an ape chain. I'm like, what? I just read a thing where it said ape chain is coming. So what do you mean that they're deciding if they want? And then so Captain Trippy says, votings for ape chains, there's 2 votes related that you need to. One, there is a for or against vote that lasts 6 days that decides if we pick one of the 4 listed for the ApeCoin vote. And the the ape chain vote runs concurrently for the full 2-week window. Go vote. Okay, anyway, that doesn't even make sense. But essentially what it is apparently there's 2 votes going on. One is, do we want an ape chain? And then 2, do we want one of these 4 options to run the L2? So the comms around this are just garbage, just absolute dog water. So I don't know how much faith I have in that aspect of things. But I was like, that's like, man, we got to get it together. And I mean, also the amount of people that probably just don't vote in anything is high because I mean I don't know, I just felt stupid after that, and I was like, I think that's just a lack of comms. Okay, these tweets are always great because it definitely actually highlights like what the sentiment is for certain things, at least in terms of like the community, which is the buzzword but true. It looks like Say is really engaged ecosystem, reminds me of Solana community last cycle, and so within this it is highlighting how they just they talked about the different ecosystem NFTs, and for Say, obviously it did the best here at 295 likes, yada yada, a whole bunch of comments. But it is something to kind of pay attention to of like, hey, there is a lot of people on X right now for whatever reason that are highlighting Say and into that. Okay, here's a great video clip of a sheep versus a bucket. Setting up, ready for the prowl. And then the flip from the bucket. And then the toss backwards. That sheep is pissed. What a clip. Why is this so relatable? Context, fans paid pricey tickets hoping to watch Messi play in Hong Kong. Were furious as he didn't play in the match. So within the soccer season, football season right now, a lot of the major teams across the world end up playing what's the right term here? Promotional matches around, right? And we usually see a lot of the Premier League teams go down to North America to play and just, get more fans, highlight things, and it's kind of cool. So I guess Miami FC went to Hong Kong. So Project Roadmap saying, here's the hype. You're going to see Messi, Sergey Busquets, yada, yada. Postman, okay, it's garbage. He's on the bench. Nothing's happening. And then we get into the community FUD of no Messi, refund, please. No Moon, refund, please. Truey. Okay, so this person bought this one-of-one art from Exchange Art. Just highlighting for 2 seconds because first time seeing it. Multi-chain art marketplace empowering creators and collectors worldwide to explore the art. Quick little look at the site here. It's funny because Foundation and what else was there? I mean, there's Super Rare, but I feel like there was a couple of different sites that were super hyped up for like specifically art marketplaces. And then they didn't end up happening. But with this one, 2 ETH, 6.9 Sol, the multi-chain aspect is interesting. I just realized this is art, and there could be things that I'm not supposed to show on here. So this is about as far as I'm going to go with it. But if you are interested in art, you can check out exchange.art as another place to look for things. And then this is something that popped up, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I guess they follow me, and I follow it. But Laid Back Llamas, welcome to the wonderful and magical adventure of Laid Back Llama, filled with 8,100 boss lady and laid back llamas. Okay, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the goods in this? What do you think is going to be the goods in this? There is a trailer for the Sandbox. They have the floor highlighted here, where they're at 0.00. They're $20. They're $20 with 34,000 followers. What? More Grail sales as we see X copy go for 100 ETH, 229,000 American dollars. And this thing is supposed to shake and whatnot, but holy mother of pearl. Ladies and gentlemen, we are picking up. Now, this is a meme that I thought was kind of funny, but I think it's really, really true. So if you're only on audio here, it's a tweet called Sentiment Checker, and then it's a meme saying, me to myself of hard pills to swallow. People still only really care about what they hold in every video you post. Most will not watch because it's not about something they hold, which is true. I posted a whole bunch of different things, and it's funny. For certain topics, like the high chain one, where I highlighted the node sale, and I think like, hey, if you're somebody that owns this or wanting to have a node, same thing as Gala, people are excited about that. It's pretty much only exclusively people that had Hytopia NFTs that liked it, followed me, engaged with it, and like nothing else. And then like I do a Futureverse post, and I'm like, okay, yeah, everybody from Futureverse is like in that one. And I do a post about some other thing like the NHL breakaway, and it's like, 5 people. I think almost all of them watch hockey because I recognize a fair amount of them as being Canadian. But it's funny. It's like when you create something, even though it's like for everybody and just like an information piece, that again, all the stuff I try to do is, these quick 60 to 5 minutes of like a breakdown of something that I think, hey, this is interesting. Not necessarily that I'm getting into it, but you're just trying to provide some kind of insight. I just think it's kind of funny. Did you just say something, Amanda? Never mind. Okay, dude. Mana still over 800 mil market cap is insane. Truly. I don't get what the hell is going on with Mana. I don't know if it's institutions holding this. I don't know what, but like that makes no sense. And also one of the main reasons I think everybody's bullish on whatever the hell they hold, because if Mana can do 800 mil market cap, literally anything else can, respectfully. I guess some of the Gucci 10K TF stuff went out. So here's a quick little image if you haven't seen, where I guess they just have the 10K TF bag, Gucci, and this kind of stuff. Still kind of neat that we have these bigger collabs within the space. Things are about to get extremely messy. This is coming from CNN. A finance worker at a multinational firm was tricked into paying out $25 million to fraudsters using deepfake technology to pose as the company's chief finance officer in a video conference call, according to Hong Kong police. Wow. Chance said the worker had grown suspicious after he received a message that was purportedly from the company's UK-based chief financial officer. Initially, the worker suspected it was a phishing email, as it talked of the need for a secret transaction to be carried out. However, the worker put aside his early doubts after the video call because the other people in attendance had looked and sounded just like colleagues he recognized, Chan said. Yo, Trader Pops, what's going on? How are you? That's like, how do you deal with these kind of things? Like, imagine that we're getting to a point where AI, you can spoof things, you can literally create like images, videos, sounds, everything that's exactly like people. I mean, you talk with some, whether it be I don't know what would be like a good example of this, but let's just say like your TV provider, your government accounts, if you have to call regarding everything, right? They sometimes ask like, hey, will you take like voice recognition? And you're like, okay. It's like, I mean, for me, can somebody like just not go and like take what I've said and then change it because I have so many videos of that? Like, how the hell is that foolproof? It's literally not. You know what I mean? So again, back to the blockchain integration of things with AI, very anticipating what the resources are to prevent that. It was going to happen eventually. Yeah, Tarzan, I agree. So pretty sure that most people who buy the Vision Pro headset will stop using it regularly after a couple of weeks. But if you work from home, are alone for a good part of the day, love tech terminally online, and it's not a financial burden for you, then it's perhaps a good fit. I think that, for these things, like, is the Vision Pro for like an everyday life? Is it for games that they're coming out with? I've seen some people give a whole bunch of different takes, and most of it's saying, like the future is here. And Quiz, what's going on, brother? I think they're right. Like it does show that like the future's here. We've iterated on the typical like VR headsets, being able to see through things. Like it's going to be iterated, but it's also going to push the narrative of AI. So I got a message from my dad, and he's like, "Yo, have you seen like this Meta stock? It's going crazy." And like I don't think he even realized like that was the Facebook stock previously. And I was like, "Oh, like that's going crazy." Okay. And then he was like, "Oh, I think it's because they like gave out dividends for it." And it's like, okay, that's cool. Because I guess like Facebook or Meta announced that they were going to give dividends to stockholders, which I've seen a lot of comments online of people saying once dividends start, that means that the company's going to start failing. I mean, I don't know. I'm not educated enough to know in that regard. But then it also adds to the narrative of people being able to say, "Oh, the stock went up." Like, okay, sure, because of the dividends, but also because they're doing stuff in the metaverse. Uh, the metaverse is bullish, so anybody doing anything in the metaverse, that's the stock or thing that you need to get into. And so that's how these narratives kind of start. But I generally agree. Like right now, like okay, everybody is hyped about it for a day. I haven't really seen it on my timeline at all since then. Do you guys remember Blob Lab? Apparently they're still around. I remember these things in like early BAYC days. I think like Danny Ukes and a couple other people were showing them. Guess they launched a side companion of cars, but now they have printables of these things. And I just thought that it was funny that we do have some of the smaller collections from back then still kicking and going. Now, if you don't know who Joey Moose is, he's the guy that created the I am my penguin is me. He was on a Twitter space getting rather emotional about a certain thing within the Pudgies and how much he like loved his particular one, and it ended up becoming like a super big meme in the space. And so I think that it's funny that Pudgey Penguins is now following him after that guy's been, like literally created the biggest meme that Pudgey Penguins has. But what is this? Like 6+ months later. Now, is it small when it doesn't really matter? True, but do love to see these bigger accounts recognizing some of the bigger community members that are out there or impacting in a positive way. Sol Incinerator now allows users to burn Solana scam compressed NFTs. I think there's going to be a point here where same with ETH and everything else, there's like harvest.art, but you have to end up paying for it. When you go to certain marketplaces that aren't OpenSea, that are a bit newer, you might still have a whole bunch of NFTs shown, and scrolling through all the stuff that you have hidden or whatever, like it's ridiculous. And I think that there is a point of having like wallet clarity or cleanup, if you will. So that's awesome. That's there for Solana, but I also see that being a thing in the future for others. Now, the other thing with this that's on a side note is I think for any collection that had any kind of traction before, I think it'd be brilliant for collections that are trying to get some kind of attention to them, having like a burn your old NFT to get this newer thing, whether they pay for gas or it's a smaller transaction fee. However they can do that, I think that's going to be one of the best onboarders for that. Root try doing that with Gods and Goblins, and like there was a fair amount of collections that were a part of it. And we'll see, because at the time it really did ramp up, but most of it was honestly just the Futureverse community going and sweeping those floors to try to burn stuff. And then we kind of realized we didn't need as many goblins now that the game's out. But still, kind of neat. Okay, some insights from Mr. Bill Noble. He's one of my favorite YouTubers for this. It's at crypto_noble, I believe. But here's a little take on altcoins.
6th Street Crypto, Twitter edition. What am I going to not let happen? I'm not going to let him bore me out of my trades, bore you out of ideas. Think about it. If you're in the Patreon group in the description or down below, if you're seeing it on YouTube, don't let the market lull you to sleep.
It is pretty boring.
The administration's theater in the Mideast, done. Okay, now there's nothing left but a hawkish Fed making mistakes again, with banks failing, regional banks. This continues to be a constructive recipe for crypto. It's just that it hasn't happened yet. So don't give up the ship. And most importantly, for the tactical ideas, 3 to 4 ideas, right? Probably across 10 altcoins. Find the trading strategy, okay? Find the swing highs and lows, if you can, and then move and out. So 3 to 4 you hodl, that's in Patreon, or 3 to 4 you buy any dip you can. I'll give you a hint, Bitcoin's one of them, right? And then there's gonna be other altcoins throughout the week. We're gonna do like altcoin showdown. So every morning, there'll be 3 altcoins. We'll say, of these 3.
So, you know, apart from the message of, you know, hey, things are going to be moving here, like have a plan, Bitcoin, you buy every dip, yada, 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 yada. Just think about it. Okay, so you guys are here, you're watching this, you know, you might be heavily into NFTs. You might be like, all right, I'm going to watch this Schiller guy occasionally. But you're here, you're watching the content. And then you got guys that are a part of Bill Noble's Patreon group, and they're out trading crypto every day. More people are getting onboarded. More people are trying to figure things out. There's like a local area that just has like a neighbors group, and I posted some of my videos in there today because people were asking, okay, like what crypto do people like? And you can check the comments, and people are saying, oh, there's a lot of con artists. Have you seen this edition from 60 Minutes or like the Crypto King series on Netflix? Have you if you, you know, only buy Bitcoin, everything else is a commodity. Everybody's got these opinions on things, but you know, again, the takeaway is that more people are getting into the space, trying to find out where to go to. And to further this conversation, today I was hanging out with some family members, and they were talking about how, you know, it's awkward going out to places. You know, homelessness is getting a lot worse in certain areas. There is a lot of businesses, like 20% of businesses that have locations are like empty now. And, you know, people are working from home. So there's this trickle down effect of people that used to go into town, you know, pay the gas, get their meal, and then go back home again, pay their gas, get another meal, whatever. That's no longer happening. And so there's this economic downtrip where everybody is just being basically terminally online. You know, I was saying flat out to them, like, this is one of the reasons why I've been so much into like crypto and these digital assets, because I think that it's going to be the next big wave of what's going on here. Well, that's just my take. Yesterday, there was a 24-hour stretch without a single BAYC trade. Incredibly, until then, there had never been a single day without a BAYC trade since the launch in May 2021. Holy sugar shit. The fact that BAYC literally had a day where it didn't trade, so I think they were talking about like the 3rd, February 3rd, is crazy. Now, the price is a lot higher. We've always talked about how the blur farmers, this and that. Does that mean the blur farmers are stopping? Does that mean they're switching to other collections? Does that mean that it literally is just blur farmers by design, propping up the floor of these things? I don't know, but it also begs into question some of the other collections that are also higher. You know, how does something that's supposed to be the top collection literally have a day that has 0 volume? That's crazy. So we talk about this NFT bull run, but that one was definitely a interesting stat to look at. Fred Kroger here is saying, sounds like another 2 solid weeks of selling left in GBTC minimum. So Grayscale Bitcoin is what he's talking about. I did a shorts video, it was a part of his stream, and it was Coinbase's trend or outlook for 2024. And one of the questions or trends was, you know, when moon, and they projected that in Q2. So as we're now done February, apparently we have another 2 months of this grayscale Bitcoin selling. All right, we're starting to inch closer and closer to this apparent when moon. In my opinion, Botto is the most exciting experiment happening in AI and digital art. Been following the project since inception, but only today managed to finally add a piece to my collection. Thanks to DeFi for making it possible, as well as Pepe for answering all my questions. So there was this Botto artwork that got bought. Now, a lot of people are saying, okay, is this a wash sale? Is this actually a collector? What is this? Now, for anybody that doesn't know, Futureverse has these collections called thingies. And within these thingies, you can buy these moon rocks with the Asto token. It's not super expensive, but then you are able to generate AI art. Now, when you look at the AI art, it is like identical to this, if not even better. So I tweeted out saying this looks like thingy art, but realistically, like, if the idea of this digital artist, like, is it because there was something special with Botto for this particular one? Like, why 41 ETH for this? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it leads into the narratives that we all trying to create of like, oh my God, AI art is suddenly huge, right? Now, this is a single sale. Is it a kind of a one note pony? Very likely, right? Very, very likely. However, still something to kind of note that there was such a significant sale of that sort. Magic Eden says that 24 hours later, 134,000 wallets have claimed their retroactive diamond airdrop. Again, if you haven't used Solana in a bit, or you do, make sure just to log in to your Phantom wallet or whatever wallet you use. Go check out the Magic Eden marketplace, and if you used it, you would have gotten some of these free diamonds. Okay, so this guy took a video of him playing Mavia game, and this looks like Pokemon Go, but man, listen, he's got the microphone, the webcam, the full streamer setup. He's got the Discord running. Is this what our future entails? Grinding out these crypto games on several devices? Think of how expensive those devices are to begin with. Do they break even on it? Are they trying to farm that airdrop? Now think of how many other people in the world are doing that exact same thing, and then relook at the daily active user mark and maybe just question a few things. Okay, Dwight Howard. Holy sugar. So if you don't know the saga of Dwight Howard, be sure to check out my recent video about celebrity scams. Hey, listen, I actually put some effort into that one, so be sure to check it. And I guess with their first ball token, they literally rugged the liquidity. Nothing came of it. It was just whatever. And then so in the same Discord, Dwight posts another one. CA drops in a couple hours tonight. Max DGEM Play can print a quick 10 to 15x like usual. LFG, people commenting with shit emojis, puke emojis, angry emojis. So, like, I don't even know if this is Dwight Howard at this point, to be honest. Like, sure, it's his accounts that are doing it, but did he just have somebody that came in that was maybe an agency, or, I mean, not really an agency, like a scam agency, evidently, because the art was garbage. The utility seemed kind of weird. Now they're trying to launch different shitcoins, which, again, I steer clear of shitcoins. I had a friend that reached out to me that was like, yo, this is going to be good. It's amazing. Had no reason not to trust him. I was like, okay, but like, I think like 0.5 in or something. And then like, immediately rugs and like, oh, they're going to try to do this other thing. Nothing came of it. Shit, they're just dumb. I will never support the way that these shit coins or meme coins work. It's cool that people are into it, but I think like, okay, that's just, you're bored and you need something to do when you're addicted to trading crypto instead of being able to just hold something and go play some old school RuneScape. You know what I mean? One of those things. Yeah, trader props. Appreciate you. So I don't know. This is weird where it falls into the category again of like, you know, I mentioned when we heard the news of Dwight Howard launching an NFT, I'm like, okay, like I want these things to work, right? Like if you were a Dwight Howard fan, that's cool. I was a huge fan. I had a friggin' Lakers shirt from him when he went there. Obviously that didn't, the team wasn't that great when he was there, but I loved Dwight Howard. I thought it was great. And so, you know, like I didn't buy this, obviously, like I'm a little bit older now and I don't like admire athletes the way that I did when I was younger, but you know, for anyone that's wanting to get involved with that, like that kind of sucks that it just, you know, there doesn't seem to be like a genuine intention there other than to make money. Now, this one's going to be a little bit controversial. And I am very much up for debate regarding this, if anybody's kind of familiar with the happenings of things. And it was, I want to preface this with, I think Legend was a part of the Vfriends community a little bit more early on, where he got really into it. I want to say even he was a mod, and there was like a fair amount of like backlash that he had, and there was like some bickering, yada yada yada. But I don't necessarily think he's wrong in this, but we're going to try to present the argument. So Vfriends 2 MFers will never understand the level of absolute failure of the Vfriend team. Mentors who never sold or folks who bought secondary are down horrendous, and the utility of every token is laughable, especially Gift Goat. Hangout Hawk was recycled Instagram clips, and well, green is still green. I minted 14 and found zero promise utility versus what was marketed. The only winners are the ones who sold. It's a damn shame, and I wish you all the best. So I got into Vfriends a while ago. I ended up paying way more than I should have, but we're early days. We had a top shot rich type deal. And it was wild watching that, because I mean, you can see behind me where we have one of the Vfriends cards, and there was just nothing for like any of the NFTs. Like, it's just hey, here's like a collection that's a part of something. And the aspect, which I don't necessarily disagree with, but the value prop is that they create an IP that everybody wants. And at a point where, this is the next big time show. I don't want to use Pokemon as an example because everybody does. Let's use Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit lesser, but you probably know it, right? Where it's like, okay, if I have the Mammoth card and that turns out to be the feature Blue Eyes White Dragon of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, that's kind of cool. It's the digital aspect of things, yada, yada, yada. But every partnership they did was pretty much for like an exclusive set. So like for the elephant one, I think it was wine of some sort. And so you were able to get this wine, and they put the logo on the wine, and that was a part of it. And then for the cards, it did encompass kind of everything, but then it's, kind of just this thing of like, okay, when is there going to be more for this? Is this literally just based off of like the toys and the success of the brand overall? Where, I mean, he's on the podcast with the Nelk Boys at a point that I remember watching. Like, again, I think like generally Gary's narrative about things about, like work hard, you can do things, like believe in yourself. Like, I think that aspect's really, really good. But for some of these, NFT, I'm like, okay, huh? Because on that podcast, he was like, oh yeah, like one day I'm going to buy like a house of somebody that never sold like their original Vfriend. And so, I mean, you and I were probably like, yeah, okay, that guy's crazy. But there's a bunch of people out there that are probably like, oh my God, one day I'm going to be that person. Yeah, I love Gary, and this is going to be great, right? And so again, not trying to knock on it, but there definitely is something that's kind of weird, especially with him apparently coming out with another book, all the book things before, the book games, nothing going on with it. It's just kind of the circle of like, what the hell, dude? Add your bags of true conviction. Listen to no one. Your gut is right. Truly. And your gut is also maybe telling you to hit that like button if you've enjoyed this edition of XFeed. That's going to be it. If you're joining here late, again, my name is The Schiller. We do these daily streams Monday through Friday where I talk about NFT headlines, Web3. Starting to bud a little bit here where we kind of share my experiences. I've gotten wrecked. I've done really well. And I just want to be transparent about all the stuff because it might be able to help you and maybe entertain you just a little bit. And that is the goal. So, Mr. Trader, Pops, Quiz, Tarzan, Fluff, Dip Collector, Shay, Buffalo. Appreciate you guys coming through on the chat, and anybody else that hasn't said anything. Be sure to go check the VOD of this if you missed it. But with that said, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.